Welcome to another episode of the Quip Corner's Book Corner. Yes, part of the Christmas gift ideas. Have I got another idea for you? Please join my guest and I and learn more about this book, and you'll see why it's a good gift idea. How have you been?
It's been a tough year, but lots of good things happening. And one of them is being able to be on your program again. And I thank you for making time for me to spend some time with you.
You're kind. You're so kind. All right, so we can get started once you're ready because I know you're ready.
Yeah, I'd like to start with a question. So, what would you like me to share today, Sister Ada?
Oh, oh my. Now, I know that's not a trick question because you know you are loaded with nuggets, whichever way I go. So why don't we start by you telling me a bit about Stream and then the book we want to focus on today.
All right. Thank you. Stream was a program that we offered this summer and podcast series. And the stream in this case stood for courses that most students take, generally starting from a grade 3 through 12 and into college. But we also found that some younger students know some of the elements. And so we used poetry and art to help them think about STREAM topics. And in this case, STREAM stands for Science and Social Studies, Technology, Religion, English, Arts and Athletics, Music, and Math. And each week, we would show a picture from our book, Experience, Poems, and Pictures, and ask the viewers, what does this remind you of that you studied this past year? And there were no wrong answers, just unsubstantiated ones. And that proved to be a very interesting series of podcasts for me to develop. But to see some of the young people get all excited when they could answer the questions. And we may have them look at a blanket made with different geometrical shapes. The little ones knew about triangles and rectangles and squares and circles. The older ones may have known how to figure out the area of it. Some of the ones in the middle may be able to count and multiply. And so we were streaming all summer using what I'll be talking about in the book today is ways of using visuals and poetry to illuminate what students are learning.
And okay. All right. So let's
connection.
Exactly. Things are so connected. So why don't we even just jump into the stream and let it keep flowing as you tell us about the book?
Right. One of the things that I tend to do now that I've retired is to try to stay connected with other educators, generally online. Okay. And particularly during COVID, there was a group of educators who had begun working with a young college professor who at that time was working on research for her PhD. And one of them was, how can you use poetry as a way of connecting students, but also providing opportunities for collaboration within the classroom? And during COVID, this group of educators met once a month for 5 days, 5 mornings, and each morning there would be a new poetry prompt And we would be invited to write a poem either in that genre, in that structure, or on a topic of our choice. Over time, we ended up publishing together 3 or 4 different collections. One was poems that we wrote about sports.
Yeah.
Many people were involved in sports activities, and we wrote, one of them was just on the rhythm of athletics and sports. But the one I want to talk about today is one where we wrote about ways that you can use poetry writing in the classroom to assess, to measure what students are learning before they take a test, before they take an exam. And so one of the things I had an opportunity to do was to try a couple of the activities with middle school students at a school in my neighborhood. I'm going to ask you to show me how this works, because I'll tell you how it works and I'll ask you to do a couple.
Okay. Do I need paper? Do I need paper and a pen?
Paper and a pen works, because that is the research theory, is that actually writing with one's hand activates the part of the brain that causes retention. If students write with a pen, they have to think about how to form the letters, how to spell the words, how to organize, but doing so helps them retain what they've learned. And last spring, just before the state exams in our state of Michigan, one of the 6th grade teachers invited me in to work with 6th graders who in our state study Michigan history.
Yeah.
And so I said, let's take the word Michigan State, write the letters down the left side of the paper.
Should I write them in one line or one below the other?
One below, but I'm going to ask you to use the word Saskatchewan.
Okay. Right. Oh God, that's a difficult one to spell. Saskatchewan.
S-A-S.
Okay, I think I got it.
And that is part of it right there. If the students can spell the word, they know it.
Yes.
And if a teacher was walking around the classroom.
Okay, now you're making me break out in a sweat. Oh my God. This is hard work.
All right. Then we ask them without using their phones to look up facts.
Okay.
Write down at least one fact about the state or province where you live that is true. So if you started with Saskatchewan with the word S, what is one true fact about Saskatchewan that begins with an S?
Okay. Saskatoon is the capital.
I thought the capital was Regina.
Oh, you're right. Oh my God. Saskatoon is a bigger city. Okay, so I don't even live in Saskatchewan, so I don't think I'll be the best. Okay, well, let's try this. Okay, right. Sorry. Well, Saskatoon is a town in that, yeah. Saskatoon is one of the towns.
All right, but that is what happens in the classroom.
Yeah.
If one student says it, the other person knows it may not be correct. They can correct it before the exam.
And everybody learns.
So as the period goes on, the students would write what they recall. And then the teacher would call out, said, all right, I'm going to write the word on the board, S. Who has a word that begins with S that no one else has said? And so by the time you work your way around the room and work down the letters, almost every student has had an opportunity to speak.
Nice.
And then after they have written all of the things that have come up, then you show them a visual. In this case, I showed them a picture of a map of Michigan. Many people think of Michigan as a mitten,
The
but
shape.
it's really mittens because they're two semi-peninsula, I would call them, can't think of the word, but peninsulas that make up the
Okay.
state of Michigan. And so, and around the state of Michigan are the Great Lakes.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the only states that is surrounded by 4 of 5 different lakes. And so, as we're working through looking at the visual, thinking of the words, students are seeing what they know, but equally, the teacher is seeing what they know
Yeah.
before the exam. And just because we're working together, Michigan is one of the only states that has a foreign country both north and south of it.
Oh.
When you look at the thumb of Michigan, where the city of Detroit is,
Yes.
below
Yeah.
it is one lake, above it is another. And both of them are from Canada.
Yeah.
Canada is below, north and south
North
of
and
a
south.
portion of
Oh,
Michigan.
wow.
And then we stood looking at the history. Who are some of the countries that had colonists in the state of Michigan? And that's,
Mm.
we talk about British colonialism and French. And the fact that there were Native Americans who are living there. What tribes? And as we're working around figuring out what the students remember, students are saying, oh, I'm Potawatomi. That's my family tribe. Or another one says, we're of French descent.
Oh, wow.
Okay, whatever. But the purpose of it, showing the visual, having the students write, they're illuminating what they know.
Yeah.
But they're also revealing what they need to learn before the state exams. And that was the chapter that I submitted. But as other teachers were writing and talking about it, it's called assessing, measuring students with poetry writing across the content areas. We found that other teachers in other parts of the country had been using poetry in social studies and history, in science, in math, and other languages, as well as English language arts. And one of the teachers did the same thing in geometry. What are some of the geometric terms? What are some of the special characteristics of different geometric shapes? And by preparing a book that shares what we have been doing, we're encouraging other teachers to try it. Perhaps the most exciting one was one teacher in a small town in, I think it was Georgia, did it as a community event where her students wrote poetry and then they set up stations in stores around the city and invited the people who came into the store to look at what they had written, but also try what they had done. And can you imagine the illumination that occurred when a whole town learned that their students were learning by writing poetry?
Nice. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, I'm just blown away by the fact of how versatile poetry is.
And the fact that poetry, you may recall from some of my other presentations, poetry is a genre of literature designed to capture events in carefully selected words, chosen for its sound and suggestive power, as well as using rhyme and rhythm.
Hmm.
So you don't have to have a sonnet to have a poem.
Yeah.
But if the poem has been carefully selected words that are organized in a way that reveals and illuminates and illustrates, you've got a poem.
Hmm. As you know, you're sharing this, what's just hitting me, I'd say, is it's great to see that educators are coming together to encourage people to use the right and left side of their brains.
There you go. Yeah. And the fact that some students learn best from looking.
Visual
What they
learners.
see,
Yeah.
visual learners. You have the auditory learners. And so part of the activity is to say aloud.
Yeah.
Some of them speak the poems aloud, but when you're just gathering information, just to write that across tape, students are hearing. But this works particularly well with students who are not English speakers at home.
Okay.
If they're having an opportunity to practice writing in English,
It sticks.
if they're having a time to hear it spoken in informal settings, equally, if they have an opportunity to speak it themselves, where
Yeah.
they're not being judged
Yeah.
for the way
Yeah.
they pronounce it, it's a welcoming kind of
True.
experience because all of it is ungraded. You may get a check mark if you complete it, but you're not being checked. Did you maintain a 4/4 beat rhythm? Did you have a rhyme pattern of A, B, C, A, B, C, C, D, E, or whatever? That's not the purpose.
Nice.
It's to help students think, write, share, collaborate, and retain. And that's the reason I'm glad you invited me to come and share about my book at this about the time people are thinking about what do I do for holiday gift giving. Yes, consider this as a gift for a teacher, but also for youth group leaders. Many communities now have after-school programs where
Yes,
young
after school
people
care. Yeah.
are invited to come for one reason or another to spend a couple of hours after school. If one of those collaborators or community leaders has this on hand, they can find activities, but they can learn the vocabulary that the students need to practice or need to hear. But I also encourage to get it for caretakers. It may be the grandmothers who are caring for the children, the students after school.
Yeah.
They may be spending the weekend with the grandparents so that their parents can have some honey time.
Yeah.
And when they go to grandma's house, grandma can pull out the book. Let's find something in here for you to do to help you show me what you know how to do.
Nice.
And having such a book on hand would be such a useful, valuable gift for such a wide range of persons that it's less expensive than a meal out.
And will be retained longer than a meal out too.
There you go. That's it. Give her an image and she goes with it.
I don't know. You're rubbing off on me. I'm rubbing off on you. All I know is that it's a partnership that works.
It does. And finally, if anyone in the circle of your listeners has someone who is called a graduate teaching assistant, many colleges invite graduate students to teach the introductory courses.
Yeah.
Many times these are men and women who have not decided to become professional educators, but they are teaching. And having such a book on hand will support them because each of our strategies is supported by research.
Nice.
In fact, it was one thing I heard when I was doing my master's research is that what students write, they retain about 80% for almost a whole school year. If they don't write, they may forget it in 3 weeks. They may pass the test, but once the test is over, it's gone.
Yeah.
If, however, they have been writing regularly, they're
Mm-hmm.
going to retain it. They'll retain more and retain longer.
Wow.
Some of your viewers, particularly those who have family in Scandinavia, may notice that Scandinavian countries have picked up on this, and they are now requiring that handwriting be taught formally, because thumbing and fingering do not activate this part of the brain.
Wow. And I'm sure you noticed I looked down for a moment because I was writing so that I would retain. But thank you so much for sharing this. And yeah, I agree. It's a great gift. I know it's available on Amazon, but how
Mhm.
else or where else can people get copies of this book?
The book is published by a company called Routledge, Routledge, and it's available on their website.
This one.
Um, if you want a signed copy, email me. We'll arrange for you to prepay for the book, and I will ship it to you. It's an AJ Roseboro at Comcast.net. But it's available through the publisher on Amazon. And in this case, I purchased a few copies so that I could do this for those who wish to have. That would make a
Okay.
nice gift,
Yeah.
a signed copy
Mm-hmm.
by yours truly that you learned about through
Nice.
Ada.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. Okay. Well, thank you. I'll put that information below so that viewers
Okay,
can, quickly access that information and reach out to you as they need to. Well,
thank
thank
you.
you again for joining me in the book corner. I really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate it. And you see behind me some of the other books that you have had me
Yes.
share on the program. And
Uh-huh.
I just am grateful for it. And when people say, who do you give credit to? I give it to him
Amen.
because he introduced me to you.
Yes. All
Okay.
to the Lord. All to the Lord. Only He could have done this.
This far away? How, how it's been about 4 years, five
Yes.
years.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep. You're
Okay.
welcome.
Greetings to the family.
And
Take
to
care.
yours too. Thank you and God bless you. Bye now.
Bye bye.
Do you see why now? Because it can be given to different people and it's a gift that will keep giving. So, question, how much do you write? Or you always texting or using your thumbs or at work? How much do you actually write? I also know that beyond retention, I hear it's good for to guard against, I think, arthritis or something. You can look that up. All right. See you in another episode. God bless you. Bye now.